Okay, that's the bike more or less finished, other than the full reassembly. Before I start putting petrol tanks and bolting seats down and bolting side panels on properly, permanently, I'm going to take it outside and use an auxiliary fuel supply. I'm just going to start the engine up, make sure it's still running. It was running okay when we started stripping it down, so fingers crossed. But for me to properly check the electrics, I've got to have the engine running. So we're going to have to push it outside. Don't want any accidents in the garage. Push it outside, connect up an auxiliary fuel supply, and then just see if we can get it started and make sure that all the lights and that's still working as they should be. And then if that's okay, we'll bring it back in and we'll complete the final assembly. So fingers crossed, hopefully we should see an assembled bike running and rideable within well, yeah, today if we can. See how we get on. So famous last words, let's get it outside. Okay, we've got the bike outside. We've got it rigged up with an auxiliary fuel supply. Hopefully that should be enough to get enough fuel into to get the bike started. We'll see how it goes. So fingers crossed it's going to start up reasonably easy. Okay, let's give it a go. Previous owner said it always started without choke, second or third kick. Let's see what we've got. One, two, okay, there you have it. Good job I didn't put the tank back on. Got a couple of loose connections in the wiring harness here under where the tank will sit. Get them sorted out and then we'll start putting it all back together. Right, I'm fitting these aluminium number boards as side panels effectively, just to keep with the look of the 1960s scramblers. I've got some yellow sticky back backgrounds to go on top of there, rather than keeping them polished alley, again in keeping with the 60s style. Alright, a little bit nervous about drilling holes in these, but as before I've cut myself a template. I've already done this side, the left hand side, cut myself a template. I've located where the holes are on the brackets that are already mounted on the frame, made holes in the template, and then use the template by taping it to the number board and drilled. And to be fair, I'll do a close-up in a moment, but to be fair, as you can see, shift some of this rubbish, it's worked quite well. Okay, I did have to elongate one of the holes just to get it to line up fully, but I think that looks quite neat. So just yeah, I know the fashion is to have the frame open, but there's a lot of electrics that were visible behind this this side especially, and I'm wanting it to look like a period Desert Sled, and they had number boards. So that's that. As I say, I've got some yellow decals, stickers, whatever. Again, nervous about putting them on. I always get air bubbles, but we'll have a go, see how we get on. But that's this side done. I'm going to do the other side in the same way, and then that should be it for today. We'll start putting the bike back together. Right, so we've got the bike back in after having it started. As I mentioned, we had a bit of an issue with some loose wiring, which fingers crossed has now been sorted. Just checking cable routing, throttle there. Okay, all looking fairly good. So now I'm going to put the fuel tank on, which shouldn't be a big deal, but because it's a modified XT tank going on to an SR, the previous owners modified the tank and the fittings a little bit, so there might be a little bit of jiggery pokery to get them, especially the front mounting brackets, sorted and spaced up properly. The rear one shouldn't be too bad. There's a hole there, and it's just a case of an M8 bolt going through and securing the rear of the tank. It's the front one that's going to be, which has to be mounted here, and it's just getting it even and getting a long bolt through to hold it in place. So let's set about putting that on. Okay, so if we line up the rear first, okay, that's lined up, and then push this down gently so it lines up something like, I think that's somewhere there. Okay, we're going to leave it at that for now. Get the back of the tank secured down, then we can put the seat on. That should all be a little bit more straightforward. Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle around here, get the back of the tank secured. Not sure that the bolt I've picked out is going to be long enough. Now I've got it something like right. Right, that should be as solid as it's going to be. Okay, so finally, or almost finally, the seat, which should be straightforward, as it's literally 3 bolts go through 3 points on the frame. It's mostly just finding them. There we go. That one's locked. Right. Okay, I'm just about to take SR out for its first ride and see how it runs and give you a report back on that. I thought just before we get it fired up and go for a ride, I'd just run through exactly what we've done to it and let you have a look at the finished product. So here you go. There it is in its final glory. So just running through what we've actually done. If you remember we tidy up the mud guard, sort out these mud guard stays and the brackets. Okay, mounted a speedo. You can see these are the speedo brackets that I made up, tucked out the way. I think you'll see that the speedos fits quite neat, unobtrusive. Yeah, the speedo cable's still got a bit of a kink to get round, but it's nothing more than a standard speedo would have to cope with. Fuel tank, reasonably pleased with that. Yeah, we do something slightly different next time maybe, but reasonably pleased. Okay, there's the side panels. Okay, as I say, we use those brackets that are designed for spotlights or whatever accessories. Well, I've used them to mount these. So far they seem to be working all right. There's the mudguard and tail light. Still not sure about maybe some sort of bracing, but but so far, yes, it wobbles, but we've not had any major issues. So we'll see how it goes while we ride it. Okay, exhaust bracket. We managed to use the original that came with the exhaust, just putting a little couple of bends in, and saying again using that that bracket that it's dual function on this side, in that on this side it's got the number board bolted to it, and on the back it's got the exhaust bolted to it. Same with this this front one. You can just see the bracket in there, that the ignition switch there bolted on the back side of it, and that bolted in there. Yeah, all finished. Just a case of taking it for a ride and seeing how it goes on the road. Fingers crossed it rides as good as we expect. So let's go get a helmet, get it fired up, and let's go for that ride. Got some blue skies, so we should be able to get away with it. So for now, I'm going to get kitted up, and I'll come back to you once we've had a ride and we see how it goes. Till then, I'll see you. I've just had a call from my mate Phil. He wants to borrow a timing disc, so I'm going to take the opportunity and take one up to him and give the hammer a run at the same time. So hey, let's see if we can get it started and go for a ride. See how we get on. Well, there you have it. We've arrived at Guzzy Phil's, and apparently he's going to finish his lunch now.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
And it has to be said, it weren't a bad ride. But we'll do a proper review when I get back home. But for now, I'm going to pester Guzzy Phil. He don't like being on fat camera, so especially when he's eating.
He's got it all down.
Exactly. Now then, well, as you can see, we've done a few miles on the Desert Sled so far. 303 I think it's showing, to be precise. And well, I thought I'd just give you a bit of feedback on what we think. And to be fair, we're loving it. It's not disappointed in the slightest. Yeah, it's had a couple of teething problems, minor adjustments, bit of carburation adjustment here and there, rear brake adjustment. It was a bit vicious. Since we started riding it, we found there were a couple of bits and pieces that really did need servicing that we didn't expect. So I've had to buy a shim kit for the front brake and tidy that up and get that working. It was seized on one side, but it's fine now. It works quite well as it ever did anyway. So I have ordered some new tyres for it. It's only a mismatch of tyres, but in all fairness, they're not affecting the way the bike performs and handles. Because it's really stripped down, it handles like a 125, but it pulls like a steam train. The engine is strong and sweet, absolutely loving it. Currently, it is my go-to ride. You know, as you're probably all aware, I've got a selection of bikes. They tend to drift in and out as to which is my first choice if I'm going somewhere. Sometimes it depends on how far we're going and where we're going as to which bike I decide to pick on. But so far, as I say, yeah, what's letting us down is the weather this year. It's been proper pants. Trying to get out and avoid the rain is nigh on impossible. But in all fairness, I'm loving the SR. Yeah, I've said it before, it's a keeper. I've said that with several bikes, and then yeah, a couple of years later they've gone. But no, this one's a keeper. I think it'll probably always be in a work in progress, but beyond that, I'm loving it. I'm just going to get out there and ride it. You'll probably see it in some of my future videos. As I say, this year so far, it's my go-to ride. So for now, that's it. That's the build over. Enjoy my other videos. Let me know what you think about this one. Give me some feedback. As always, I am the Barnsley Biker. Please like, please subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Please share. But more than anything, enjoy the videos. As always, I'll see you. Ta-ra for now.